Hi and welcome to Cheekyricho Cooking's pork pies made in the pie maker. The first thing that you're going to do is make your pork mixture, which is a combination of bay leaf. I'm just using the celery tips here, lots of flavour there. Vegetable salt, pepper, a clove of garlic, half an onion and some bacon. We've got some of our homemade chicken stock here, and as you can see, it's really quite solid. That's going to be the basis of our pork pies. We'll cook this first in the Tefal Cook4me, and then I will show you how to make hot water pastry. Okay, to our Cook4me, which is just on the browning function, we add our garlic, our onion, our celery, good sprinkle of freshly cracked pepper, and just over a teaspoon of vegetable salt. Our bacon goes in now. That's just been finely diced. It will keep the pork quite pink in colour because of the salt in that bacon. And there's our pork. Now, I've just cut that into little pieces, about so big. I've taken a lot of the fat off, but I have left a little bit there because that's where the flavour is. But we are going to render that out. We just want to get a little bit of colour on that, not too much. And we'll throw in our bay leaf too. Richard just dragged that out of the garden for me. Let's give it 2. Okay, that's cooking along nicely now. We're just going to throw in about a cup of our chicken stock, and you can see how lovely and thick that is. That will melt down as soon as it hits that hot meat. We're going to close and bolt the lid and cook it for 7 minutes on the pressure cooker function. Okay, our Cook4me has just done its job now. We're going to remove this and strain it because we need to collect the stock. We'll just fish our onion out and our bay leaves and whatnot. And by leaving the other end on the onion like that, it holds its shape. You could also put a toothpick through it as well. That would hold it together. But I didn't need to have the whole onion in there. Our little celery stalks have done their job now. They're looking a bit like grass clippings at the moment. We'll fetch those out as well. Now, we're just going to lift it out and strain it into colander because we need to keep this stock. And that's what we're going to be filling our little pies with when they've cooled. It's absolutely loaded with the pork stock and the bacon and the vegetables we put in there. There's our meat. Just keep it cool because it's going to be a lot easier to fill your pies with cooled meat. And that's the stock that we're going to thicken with gelatine and pour it back into the cases that hold the pie filling. Okay, for a hot water pastry now, we're just going to melt our lard in the microwave and pour some boiling water in it with some salt. While that's heating up, we're going to rub our butter into our flour. Okay, now we've got our lard that's been melted. We just add our boiling water to that with our salt, and we're just going to pour our butter and flour into that and mix it all around. It's going to be far too hot to touch just yet, and then we're going to knead it on a floured surface. Let's mix this all around. It'll go quite shiny and globby, and you have to use this while it's still warm, otherwise it gets difficult to get along with. Okay, now dust our bench with flour, tip our dough out with one gloop, and we've got to knead this just gently until it all comes together and all those fats are well amalgamated. Okay, pretty happy with that. Not sticking to my hands or the bench. It won't stick to that anyway because it's silicone. But you can see it's quite a different pastry to what you're normally used to. And we're going to press that into our pie maker. So just pinch off blobs of that. What have we got here? I think we'll make 8. And don't forget we have to make a top for these as well. So there's our pie maker here. Just pinch a top off and we're just going to press that into our pie maker. Just like so. That's a top. You can roll it out if you like, but then you're going to have to try and maneuver it into position in the pie maker. Okay, now we get a spoonful of our mixture and scoop it into our little pastry cases. Now this is going to be a significantly dry mix because we're going to fill it with our stock, which has been set with gelatine. So just make your little, they're sticking to each other from the gelatinous stock that they were cooked in. Now we get our little tops and just flatten them right out and press them very well onto our pastry. But we're going to punch a hole in the top of it. You could use the end of a spoon or a chopstick could work well with that. Now we need it completely covered because this is going to be the vessel into which we pour our stock. Continue with the rest. Lucky last. Press it right out. Sort of like really greasy Play-Doh. pinch it tight around the edges, and when the lid comes down on it, it will actually reinforce that seam that you've got around the edge. Okay, now they're not the prettiest looking pies you've ever seen. Now we're going to put a hole in the center. Better to do this before you cook it, otherwise you'll cut the pastry unevenly. And you need to have a big enough hole that you can pour your gelatinized stock in. Okay, turn that on now. Pretty round. Okay, lid down. That is never going to stick. It's so slimy. Okay, we're going to cook those for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, we've got a couple of sheets of gelatine here. We're just going to soak them in some cold water for a few minutes, wring them out, and then dissolve them in our stock. They need to sort of rehydrate a bit. Now, don't boil the stock with the gelatine sheets in it because it'll interfere with its setting power. Okay, it's gone quite soft and gooey now, as you can see. We're going to just drop that straight into our hot stock, stir it all around, and dissolve that in our stock. Now these little pies have actually been baking for about 20 minutes now, and this stock is going to set like a really firm jelly because, as you saw, at room temperature it was still quite jellified. Okay, ready to take these little guys out now and send the rest in. Okay, we're just going to lift these out now very carefully because they're very hot. Turn our pie maker off for the moment because we need to have it a little bit cooler before we press in the other ones. Very crisp, short pastry, which is a way of just tipping them out actually. Okay, so it can cool a little bit, and then we're just going to fill those holes in the center with our jelly mixture. It'll be a lot easier to do that out of a pouring jug. Now I've decided to turn these little pork pies into pork and egg pies, the last lot, filling it with the jellified stock or the aspic. But we're going to put the eggs in there, put the meat around it, and then we're going to put our little lids on and bake it. We might have to offset our center hole to make room for the egg. Otherwise the egg will actually seal the hole and you won't be able to pour your stock into it. Just press that in there. These will come up the sides a little bit further. We're going to put meat around them a little bit, but fill the rest up predominantly with the meat. And that way it'll have a bit of interest at your picnic. Mark them if you like, but you don't have to. It could be just a little surprise for someone. Sort of like bacon and egg and pork in aspic. Right, now squash the lids on like before and make a little hole in the top. Okay, there we go. Join those together, put it over. Force it over the top. Try and keep it completely enclosed if you can. That's what we're after. Now we're just going to put a hole in the center of our pork ones so that we can pour our filling into that, and the egg will actually seal up this hole. So we're going to put our little hole off to one side. We're here. There we go. Right there. So we can drizzle our filling in there then. Okay. You can put some sesame seeds on here too if you wanted to, I suppose. A little bit of added interest. And turn the machine on and close the lid. Okay, just as those other pies are cooking, I'm just going to fill these little ones with our stock. These are great because they sort of funnel into the right position. And these go into the fridge. You don't eat these until they're really cold. A picnic pie or a lunchbox pie. Just fill it right up. Okay, and we can put those in the fridge now. Into the fridge we go. It's time to cut our little pork pies open, and I will show you what they look like inside. The jelly is all set now. I'll cut open the egg one to start with and show you what that looks like. It's got the jelly and the meat all around it, and the egg set in the aspic, and I'll get you another little one to have a look at too. Now, these are designed to be eaten cold, and you can see all the jelly in there, or the aspic, and they're really quite delicious. You have them with a salad, pack them into your picnic with some more boiled eggs and maybe some crusty fresh bread, and we'll have a little taste, shall we? The pastry is very, very crisp, actually quite light, very short. Our little pieces of meat are in there, cloaked in that gorgeous aspic jelly. This is really, really a treat. Hope you enjoyed this little cooking demonstration of Cheekyricho Cooking's pork pie and egg and pork pie. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, just check out our Cheekyricho Cooking channel, and don't forget to please subscribe. And do come back and visit us again soon. We've got so much more to show you, and we're uploading lots of videos. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Oh, so good. So good. And don't worry if you don't have a Tefal Cook4me. You can also do this on the stove in a pressure cooker, but you will have to keep your eye on it. But the pie maker just does a perfect job of these little fellas. You see what I'm showing you there? It's really gorgeous. Thanks for watching.